Keala Suarez has served 3 tours in Iraq, but these days he has something else on his mind.
Potato, sweet potato, onion, but bell peppers will be the main one.
In appreciation of his service, how about a warm welcome for Keala and Kanoe Suarez.
Suarez, like many of the 14 graduates in the first pilot class of the Veteran to Farmers program, is going to be a farmer for the first time in his life.
It's a good thing to try. First of all, I think it would be taking care of the family. You know, maybe just passing them all to the family, and on top of that, maybe selling them to, farmers market or anybody who like.
The goal of the program is to provide participants with technical and business skills to start small agricultural operations while still holding down full-time employment, like Tony Reed, who already has an interesting day job.
I work on Hawaii Five-0, and I work in the costume department, and I work Monday through Friday, sometimes Saturdays. And our days are between 12 and 15 to 16-hour days every single day. We start early in the morning, finish late at night, and I fly home on the weekends to do the farm.
Reed was part of the effort from the start.
A few years ago, Mike Hudson and I were friends, and he approached me and asked me what I think about having a greenhouse to farm. Of course, I always wanted one, but the price, and I thought, how am I going to do this? So he wrote a grant, him and Trish, they wrote grants, and it was 2 farmers, me and another farmer. And then he asked me, he says, why don't you guys wait? If you wait, we can get more farmers. I said, yes, okay. So we waited, and this is about a 2-year process. So now our greenhouse is here, it's up, and we will be planting heirloom organic bell peppers, which I am very happy to do because when I go to the store, they're all from Mexico. And they're beautiful bell peppers, but we have farms here and we can grow it here. So my thing is, I want to grow local, eat local as much as we can.
We just completed the first half of the program, and so we're done with the classroom, the educational piece, the learning. So we're in the second phase, which is the phase where we actually building the greenhouse and actually hands-on farming.
Mike Hodson, a retired police officer whose family owns Wow Farm, led a tour of the Waimea Homestead Farms in November.
And basically, this is how the greenhouse is going to look. This is a basic 2,000 square foot greenhouse, and not necessarily the lessees. The lessees decide what they're going to grow. They're not going to grow tomatoes. If they want to grow tomatoes, they can. But it's up to them what they want to grow. It's their choice. So I've retired about 5 years ago from the Hawaii County Police Department, and I started farming my land. And I initially started farming for stress release. After doing so, my farm grew. Today I have 45 2,000 square foot greenhouses over the past 5 years. It's a family operated business. We grow it all natural in the soil. Mostly grow tomatoes. We have about 10 varieties of tomatoes.
It's such a thrill.
Governor Neil Abercrombie was on hand that day to see the project firsthand.
The Big Island is going to be the generator of prosperity for this part of the 21st century. There's not a doubt in my mind.
And the governor returned for the graduation ceremony on Saturday.
When we first got up here, I had no idea with the Waimea Nui initiative. All that could involve, not just for homesteads, but for farming in general, for everything here on the Big Island in terms of land and water and the future of ag on the Big Island and by extension for the state. And when I saw what the possibilities were, I certainly wanted to follow up. And when you put programs together like the Vets to Farmers program, getting other people into it from the homestead side of things who never thought they'd be able perhaps to ever fulfill a destiny they would like to have with agriculture. Just today, putting up the greenhouses, for example, whole families there. The tutus, the kapuna there, the grandkids all helping out, getting used to it, pulling weeds, building the greenhouses, learning the ag business from the business side of things, as well as the necessary education in biotechnology in order to deal with the diseases, the VOG, How do you deal with sulfur in the air? The kind of thing that other people may not even think about. I'm going on at such great length because I'm so enthusiastic about what's been accomplished here.
UH Hilo is proposing a new undergraduate certificate in agriculture solely for U.S. military veterans. The program will provide a certificate-level, hands-on farming skills training curriculum, classroom-based business training, business startup support, and health monitoring for veterans, according to UH officials.
Well, the goal is really to provide opportunities for the returning veterans. They have the land resources, they have family here, but sometimes they have troubles finding employment, and this way they can be trained, they can get the certificate and then qualify for agricultural loans and can put their lands into production. These courses are not for credit, and the next batch is going to have 4 credit courses through the university in cooperation with Wow Farms, where the laboratory components will be done at the farm and at the NHERC facility in Honoka'a, and lectures will occur up here as well, so the classroom instruction, they won't have to come to Hilo, they can do it at NHERC or maybe some facilities in Waimea.
Chancellor Straney and the whole UH Hilo community not only practices what they preach in terms of a pedagogical approach, their educational approach, but they turn that into practical reality for people. They purchase food so that they can feed the campus. In fact, they'd like to do more. They run out. They could use more. They could take more just from local production alone in agriculture. They advise on plant chemistry, on soil conditions. They stand ready to work and coordinate, collaborate with the homesteaders, with the farmers, with the whole ag community as it blossoms on the Big Island. It's an integral part. The UH Hilo is not just a leader in this, but they're a partner and a friend.
But this Waimea pilot program is not just for veterans. It is also part of a broader effort to build the Waimea Community Agricultural Park, which would enable the extension of the farmer training to people who do not own their own ag land.
About half of the folks were vets, and the other half were just homesteaders in the community. And that's a good balance, because we want this to be for the entire community. Well, you know, Waimea, the potential for growing all kinds of crops here is just incredible. We're at about 2,500 foot elevation, so it's relatively cool. So you can grow all the cold crop, broccoli, cabbages, cauliflower, all of those. And with the focus on greenhouses, especially contained greenhouses, they will be able to thwart the fruit fly damages that could happen. So tomatoes, cucumbers, bell peppers, zucchini, all of those kinds of commodities I think are going to flourish.
Valuable training for Shirley Dorigo, who's currently working on her family greenhouse.
We've got the frame up and the plastic will go on. And then once that happens, I believe our seeds are ordered, and I'm guessing in the next week or 2 weeks that the ground will get tilled and the work will start. My son is home from, just graduated from the University of Arizona, so he wants to get it moving as soon as possible.
She has never before grown crops commercially.
It was an easy way for us to start farming. We had no idea how to farm.
For these new farmers, the program has offered crucial information.
They learn about soils, they learn about nutrition, they learn about plant life, the different types of pesticides, fungicides, organic, non-organic.
I really didn't know about fertilizers. All I knew was chicken manure, horse manure, cow manure. That's what I grew up on, because I grew up on a dairy. So that's the kind of fertilizers I was familiar with. But he taught us a lot about nitrogen, all the balance, the soil, to take soil samples of what the soil needs. I never knew that, because I always just thought fertilizer was fertilizer. So that was a great lesson for me and my husband to learn.
A lot of people are retiring now, and they always wanted to get into farming, but didn't have the opportunity. Now we've got the infrastructure in terms of personnel, as well as in terms of facilities and laws that support it. Allow people to put up ag structures, for example, without having to go through an elaborate permit process. that is applicable to other kinds of structures rather than agriculture, that kind of thing. So water at a price that can be afforded. So a lot of people are finding that they can be full-time, part-time farmers, and that's something that they treasure and they want to pursue, and they find that they really like it.
The governor says this model will be applied to other islands.
We've acquired the so-called Galbraith property on Oahu, on the Central Plain out there near Schofield, 1,700 acres. And we're going to take everything that has already been accomplished here, both by way of program, by way of infrastructure, and apply it as is needed and is useful on Oahu right now. What's being done here can be replicated. The model that is being that is established here and expanding on the Big Island is going to be useful and practical for the entire state. Well, I've said for some years, right up from the time of when I first began campaigning for governor, that I saw tremendous potential for the Big Island in terms of being a real spur to the rest of the state. Whether it's in energy, geothermal, whether it's in ag, the kind of thing that's being done here, whether it's in education, the Hilo and the new Kona campus that's coming up, workforce housing expansion, in terms of higher ed, the telescope projects, all these kinds of things are now coming together all across the Big Island. And the Waimea Nui initiative is a real bell ringer in that, letting everybody know that the Big Island and the future are one and the same.